Like Geraldine said, I hope you've taken notes. If you haven't, listen again, write some things down and just start applying. Apply one thing every day and just start backing yourself, believing yourself. Don't expect miracles overnight. Start consistent success practices. You can do it.
Absolutely.
You are worth it.
You are worth it. Maybe the reflection prompt for the end of the season is, what value do you need to lean into in 2026?
Mentoring with Geraldine is a bite-sized practitioner podcast for naturopaths, nutritionists, herbalists, coaches, and practitioners. This podcast responds directly to the needs of you, the practicing natural therapist. We have interviews during the holiday season and business and mindset support each week, so you'll get the variety you need to enjoy and stay motivated in your practice. Don't forget to subscribe to receive the weekly episodes. And if you want to connect with me, always check the show notes, because that's where you'll find the links to book appointments and, of course, to join the Academy, the membership group, where there's constant connection and community with like-minded practitioners. Now, let's get started.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mentoring with Geraldine and the Bite Size Podcast. How the devil are you? So I am so lucky I've got Annie with us again. So she has so kindly said that she is going to do our summer season with us, and we're on to episode 3 together. So we have really been looking at that magnetic brand last week and how we can niche and who we are. And the week before, we really talked about, stepping out of that comfort zone, really stepping up, stepping out, and getting the support that you need to be the practitioner you want to be, which has kind of led us in a segue, in a roundabout way, but still the same way, has led us to really looking at systems and support for that sustainable growth. So we've got our magnetic brand. We've spoken to people. We've asked people, what do you think of this? What is wrong? Why am I not getting people in? What are you seeing in my socials? What is it that's going on? But with Annie's corporate experience, she guides those large change projects. I mean, ATMS at the moment, we are getting a kick in the pants from Annie, and it is just brilliant to be part of ATMS right now. I feel that I am on this precipice of change, the way we all work and our association, because of Annie's energy. All right. It's amazing working with you, Annie. Absolutely amazing. I've never been so thrilled to have gained a post where I got to work with somebody like you. It's just blown my mind. And I can see that we are creating something amazing, and we are creating this sustainable practice for people out there in the industry. But they all need help. What does scaling mean to you? How can you describe scaling to that person who's just taken their step outside of college, or they've taken time off to have babies and they're just stepping back into the workforce? What does scaling mean to you for them?
Well, I'm all about the scale, Geraldine, because the scaling means that you get more income, more opportunity for less effort, right? Who wouldn't want to do that? So I'm all about the scale. My goal in everything, whether it's my entrepreneurial staff boards that I'm on, your CEO at ATMS, I'm all about, yes, we want to have sustainable growth. So we'll look at our systems and all of that sort of thing. So we want to have that, but you don't just want to grow. Growth is necessary. You start, then you grow. Yes. So grow, but you can grow and just manage a bigger thing, which therefore requires more resources. And so something even like an airline is a massive thing to run. If I was CEO of an airline, it's just a massive thing, but they've got a very fine margin. They can go belly up very easily. So you can grow and then just get a bigger effort to grow. So not necessarily better income. What the scale means is that you then got multiple revenue sources, things like that. Like I sell books, I get sponsored, I speak, I have clients, I still got a day job. I know I'm hyperactive, do lots of things. But it means that I can scale. You get to get better results on less effort. Doesn't mean that you're not working hard, but you're working smarter. All right. So for me, I was like, I could spend all time faffing around on something, but I go, no, because of my skill and my expertise, I can just get clarity on what it is. So you need clarity. What are the steps? And then, like I said in your first episode, I just do them. And if I don't like the topic, because there'll always be something in whatever job you're doing, I always do it early in the day. Once you get to 3:34, I tell you what, the afternoon sag's happening, and you're thinking I'd like a sugary snake or something. You're not going to do that. In business, they call it eat frogs early.
Yeah.
A bit of a crazy sort of phrase, but basically there'll be some things. So I'm all about the scale, looking for the scale. How do you do the scale? One, you get to a stage where you can broaden your revenue streams, and we can talk a lot about that. But before that, where you were talking about sustainability, for me, it's all about, well, one, I want to be sustained, but I don't want to just be busy and just staying the same. So I do want to grow. And then the growth stage is where you've got to get your systems in place.
Yeah. Yeah.
You will never scale if you don't have the systems. And that's a lot of work that we've done at ATMS. And it doesn't mean we weren't doing great things for 40 years. Amazing organization. But it means that we've suddenly had a time of late that we're going, right, well, what are our systems? If we have 20 modalities of practitioner, what are their unique customer journeys, and what are they getting along the way? And what are our systems to mean that if Geraldine joined and she was a naturopath and she would get this customer experience, and then one of your colleagues, Joe, joined, they'd get the same thing. So what are your systems in place that what happens when they join? How long does it take? How are they shown love? Do they get any extra? Do they know how to do the next step? So in HMS, it might be, do you know how to go to a webinar, connect with your colleagues, access our resources? But it's the same that if you're a practitioner and you've got that client walk in, well, what is their experience? So how do we have a rinse and repeat in pretty much every area of our business that is not the unique specialness, which is us, and which is where in business I call it the 80-20 rule. I want to be ideally operating in my top 20% genius zone, which is the Annie special, right? That's where I'm firing. I feel the joy. I've got all the energy. I'm the one you want to see. And people will pay more for that because they don't want to get someone else on my team who could do that because of X factors, right? But 80% of it should be in your business is just working on how does the business work and doing the practicalities that require. We've all got to do our accounts and bits and pieces. So when you've started, you and those of you who are just starting, I think you said, well, what about the person who's just started? You know what? You're going to be doing all of it. And that's what we've all done. And it's hard, and particularly if you've already still got a day job and you're still in the hobby phase, which means you haven't got to probably around, usually my clients, I get told once you get to 80 to 100K, you get a decision because you don't have a hobby, you have a business that you can really take to that next level. If you don't, you probably do have a hobby, even though it's a business, and there's no judgment on that, but there's a whole lot of factors that prove that theory. All right. So if we're in that middle bit and you go, oh, if you're the new practitioner, then you go, well, you're going to have to do every single task. And your goal is to go find out in that time, what is my X factor? What am I unique and known for? And how do I end up in my business spending more and more time in that zone? And then if I have to, once I've got enough revenue coming in, what's the first thing that I'm going to get support for?
Well, I can tell you for me.
What was it?
To get a bookkeeper.
You know what? A bookkeeper is like 90% of people go, a bookkeeper. No offense to bookkeepers. I tell you what, you are a gem because none of us like that role. It is just mind-numbing. If you're a people person, it's like, oh my gosh. But like I tell you what, they're essential. If you don't have your money involved, the next bit is, and so bookkeeping. It might not necessarily be a person. So it's usually bookkeeping, and then it's someone to help do your socials and bits and pieces. You also don't want to throw spaghetti at the wall, as in you got to know what you want to get. A bookkeeper is really defined because you know what the role is, how much time it is, you know what you get. Once you go into some other areas, it's a bit riskier, which is why you want to have mentor approach. We can unpack that. One area that I strongly recommend is IT infrastructure. So when you have a program, and I know you'll have your specific programs that you'll use, whether it's a Clinico or a simple clinic or whatever. So without going for specific things, what they've done is they've created a system that then means that you are rinse and repeatable.
Yeah.
When you take the effort of, will I send them an email? Will I do that? Now, while everything's rogue, it doesn't mean that you're not trying, but it means that there is the risk that someone doesn't get the service because something happened and you didn't do it. And there's no judgment on that. We all get really busy. Or two, they get an inconsistent service. And so they're helping you. So you want to get, and then even if I'm doing something at scale, then, therefore your website has to be automated and working. Your reception, if you've got a reception, it has to be automated. Your people have to book online because 86% of people are booking online. So if you're not, it's a hobby. And so there's just some truths on business that I used to be a bit sort of nicer about it. And I go, nah, it's just a fact. Even looking at doing videos for things at the moment, because I do them on LinkedIn and TikTok and Facebook and Insta. I'm just like, well, do I do it landscape because it's nice on YouTube and on website, or do I go for the portrait? Like, these are big decisions. And then you go, considering, and then you just get the data. Everything's got data now. And if 87% of people are watching it on a mobile, you know what? Do it portrait. That's it. Unless you want to do it all but twice, go you. I don't have time for that.
Do you know what I did initially to find out where people were and what they were following? I had two, so I did one landscape and one portrait, and I had the two sitting on top of each other, and I would just do it. So if I was going live into Facebook, I would open Insta on another machine, on another, phone or iPad or whatever it was, or my computer, whichever one worked best, and I would go live onto them both. And then I could be like, right, Insta, there are more people going through because you see them at the bottom. You see them as they're interacting, whereas you don't see that on Facebook unless they do something or they write something. There's like a 1 in the corner. It's not quite as good, but figuring out those systems. And I always say to people, when you start out, if you're starting out, where are you going to hold your notes? Because that's going to be forever.
Yeah.
I have Marianne on here a lot. She's been on the podcast
awesome
3 times with Simple Clinic, because I just think it's cheap to start with. It's really not going to cost you a lot. And it means that you have the one thing you learn to do. You learn and use it. Whereas it wasn't around when I started out. Simple Clinic didn't exist.
You have to take all those notes yourself. You have to remember everything. You've probably got a file on people. We've still got an ATM. Go out the back cupboard and there's a file on someone's like, yeah, we all had to do that. It didn't take a long time. What has it done now? It's just freed you up from the time. It's also freed you up from a lot of the risk because it's private information. So you've got laws around, data collection and storage and things like that. It frees you up, which is funny because we all say we're busier than ever, but we've basically taken on more than ever. It used to take a long time to do a few things.
100%. We're just taking on more. I listen to audiobooks now. I mean, I've listened to podcasts for years. I've taken up listening to audiobooks because I'm like, I haven't got time to read a book, which is ludicrous because I used to read a book when I was going to sleep. So what has changed in my world that I still go to bed at the same time? What has changed in my world that I'm not reading a book to go to sleep? Nothing.
We all have this time. Thing's a fascinating one for me, and I've spoken a lot on it. It's everyone's got 24 hours in the day. So your time, no one doesn't have time. We make choices. And that's just the honest fact. You do what you love. And so if you go down tunnels, well, you're fascinated by that tunnel. And you'd probably, if it's not working for you, then you need to learn how not to go down that tunnel. But at the end of the day, you're making choices that you have allowed or accepted. So you do what you accept. All right. So that's a key point. So if your behavior or the way you progress is like, well, what have I tolerated? What have I accepted to be okay? And if I go, well, I'm just totally booked out and I don't have enough time for myself and now I'm having a total meltdown, but you accepted that. You took on 50 things. You neglected your sleep, whatever. There's no judgment. We all do it.
Yeah.
But you can't blame anyone else. I had to. No, you don't. That's the thing about being an adult. You don't have to do anything. You chose to, and then it usually blows out on its time, and then you got exhausted or you went, I want to grow this business so fast because I want to be like my friend. And then you've taken on 5 things that actually a whole learning curve and blow your brain because you're learning. And then you go, no, just do one. And then you can probably read your little book on the couch on the weekends. So we take on too many things. We underestimate the learning required. Things also are different now. Now we're old and wise. In the day, you'd learn it and it'd just stay the same. I mean, you'd have some skill or knowledge and it's like still 10, 15 years later, you're the guru at it. Not anymore. If you look at AI and the effect on that, the world isn't like it was 18 months ago. So we
Yeah.
have to appreciate we've got this constant learning, lifelong learning is huge, and that is exhausting. So it's
Yeah.
super exciting and we're using it, but also it doesn't mean that we have to use every part of it.
Yeah.
Take a little bite and then milk it as much as you can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the thing, if we get our systems in place very early on, then it just makes everything so much easier. I mean, when I started out and started going online, so I don't use Simple Clinic, as I said, because it wasn't around when I started out. And I've got used to using Acuity for my booking system. I use Galaxy to store my client notes. I pay for G Suite so that I can use that to store my mentoring notes. So I'm using all of these different things when realistically I could be using one.
Yeah.
And I just haven't got round to nutting it all back and going, well, actually, you know what? I could stick with Acuity and G Suite and just use that and skip everything else. So Galaxy now, because I'm not seeing clients, I have to hang on to it. You've got to hold on to the data for all of that time. I've managed to finally get rid of all of the physical notes. I hit the 7-year mark when we moved house.
Well done.
I phoned a shredding company and they came out with all of these wheelie bins, and I put all of my last lot of paper in the wheelie bins, and they locked them up. They waited, they locked them up, and they took them away. And I was just like, yes.
Oh, you must have been doing a happy dance. That's so
Oh,
exciting. I love what you said there too, though, that you're using these systems, because that's another thing that we get, you're comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
It's worked for years. It still works for you. Would someone fresh out do that plan? Probably not. So it's not
No.
like what you're doing is wrong. You're probably paying more,
Yeah.
because you're paying 3 lots of something instead of a program that, the goal in business is like, is there a one size fits
Yeah.
all, one stop shop? And as your business grows, like, it's really hard to get that. Let me tell you, running multiple businesses that I do, you go, then you got to integrate them and this and that. But the secret is less is more with everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
because every time you get it, it's like, do you do Netflix and Stan and bloody Disney Channel? It's like, no, like pick one. And then if you want to do the other one, we'll pick 1 month here and then change it next month. But you've got to be on top of it and organized. Otherwise, you'll have these things that, from a business coach, you're just spending more. And that's okay if you really like it and it works for you. Because what it does is, and what you've said is, one, you can go, but I've done it for so long and it's worked for me, and you're happy to have the hit and it doesn't affect your life. Or you've got a free up time, which means it's a choice. When I do this, what am I not going to do? Whereas we generally do, I'm going to do this on top of, and then you go, haven't slept for 3 days and now I just can't stop crying. And so that's not going to work for you. So then often you just go, oh, look, I'll leave it till Christmas, or I'll do something. You've got to know, when do I have a downtime, which is also I've got a lovely thought of, I think you can tell where people are at. A big story comes from your calendar. And if I go to my clients and I look at their diaries or their calendar, and when I went and said that, we've all got enough time and we've all got, and you do what you love, it's really interesting what's in your calendar. So while we could be really great, like if my ATMS team, they'd have like, all their, what they're doing, and it's all very measurable. If you're in your practice, it's hard to do that, or you've got your clients. But it's about intentionally going, all right, if I've got half an hour between a client now, what am I going to do? Am I going to work? Am I going to learn a new thing? Am I going to fix something that's not working? Am I going to invest? Like, they're all choices. Or am I just going to faff around and then, suddenly it's like, it's nearly time and then I'll go. So they're all choices in your time.
Yep.
That you've allowed. And there's no judgment on that, but it's saying, when you go, I'm going to be in truck, because I teach people to have the thinking of, you're a CEO of your whole life and business and career. And so when you do that, I want them to go, you don't have to continue it on, but for the first month, I go, from that moment that you get up, what do you do? And you treat it like a work day, to the point that I'll have date night on Friday night with hubby, because we do that. And then I'll go, if I'm going to make a choice to go to the gym 3 times a week, where is it? That's not negotiable. If I'm going to even see how many friends or colleagues, or if I'm going to go to a business event or whatever, where is it, to show where my free time is? Otherwise, you just lose time and then you feel like you've had a big day, and then suddenly at 8 or 9 o'clock you go, oh, I've got things to do. I've got to do that friggin' bookkeeping because it just doesn't go away until you hire someone. And then you go, oh, this is just overwhelming and exhausting, and there must be something wrong with me. And it's like, no, you just haven't learned how to organize. So there's self-organization, organizational skills that get along and get into the diary. And then once you do it, 3 weeks, it becomes a pattern of behavior and you don't have to write it in because it's just something you do regularly. And then have systems like the simple clinic or the something, or pick something that's going to work for you that goes, oh, if I can put a whole stack of things in this one basket, one, it's effective and efficient, and it's generally going to be cheaper than managing 3 baskets.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. That's the thing with your system, isn't it? And I think this is actually segueing into the next topic, which I believe to be financial confidence and purpose-driven pricing, which I believe is one of your advocacy and strategic roles as a mentor. It's certainly something I bang on about with my mentees when I'm talking about systems. I'm like, how are you taking the money? How does the system work? Where is your client? Where do they see you at the beginning of their journey? Where are they finding you, meeting you, seeing you? How do they book into you? You have to follow it and you have to do it. You know, a lot of us are online, but people are in the real, and you need to sit in their seat in the office. What do they see? What do they see when they sit in that chair? What do they see when they walk in your front door into your office? What is their vision of you when they've seen you on social media, or their friend has told them to come and see you? What is their vision of you when they actually meet you?
Mm-hmm.
Or once we've got this system in place from that vision, how do they pay you? How much should they pay you? How do you decide on this fund? Because that's the next part. All of these systems take money.
Yep.
Acuity takes money for me. It's great, straight to Stripe. Then I get a ping and I've got money into my bank account, and it's lovely and I love it. And, it's so much better than taking a check to the bank. Oh my goodness, that was the day. Anyway, that was trauma trying to get those checks to the bank. But when we think about that pricing, because it goes with it, and I reckon we've got another whole podcast there, don't you think?
Well, let's do a whole podcast on that.
Let's do a whole podcast.
Who doesn't want to just solely talk about money?
I know. I reckon. Because systems, like in the systems, we've got VAs that can help us. We've got people that can help us. And they've got us. People who are listening today can book those focus calls with us, and we can talk to them about.
Exactly.
They just need to get in touch and contact us. And don't worry, guys, Annie's info is all in the show notes. Don't worry, you can just click on it and go and find her. She's on LinkedIn. Really easy to find. Once you type her into Google, I did.
Very Googleable.
Very Googleable. I used to be the only Geraldine Headley on the internet.
Only.
The only one. And then there was another one, and she was a philanthropist in.
I saw her when I Googled you.
Yeah.
I Googled you because we all Google stalk. I said 70% of people do all their research before they get to you.
Yeah, so she was.
You've got a philanthropist called
Geraldine. I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that at all. I thought, well, you can have my name. You're a philanthropist. I don't mind you having my name. That's all right. And there have been a few others recently, so I'll just put up with them. It is good to be very Googleable. And because we have to get these strategies in place, guys, we really have to think, how do my systems work? How can everything go from A to B to C to D? We don't want to skip C. We don't want to leap from A to E. We really need that smooth system. And how are you going to do that? And guys, reflect on what we've been saying. Write some notes. Really think about how this can help you. What are your systems? Walk through how your clients see you. Hand your phone to somebody else, or get them to Google you and find how they go through on their phone. Remember, your phone, your laptop, it knows what you want. It knows that you want you, so you will come up automatically. But get your friend, you're out for a coffee, ask them to Google you. Ask them to go through your system. I was sending out a bung link last month. And can you believe it? After all these years, I'm using the same system for years and years and years. And I was just missing a letter on the end. I'd cut and pasted something wrong. And I was sending out, but it was sending everybody to my full booking link. And when I went and looked at it, I thought, hang on a minute, I don't want people seeing these other things on here. And so I was just like, grateful that it had been spotted on someone else's device because it wasn't coming up on my own. It was showing me what I wanted to see. So we do have to check things from someone else's device. And these systems are in place to help us to do that. These overall systems are going to hold your notes. They're going to take the money. They're going to they're going to send those emails, those reminders, those texts. They're going to store your client's information. They're just going to make your life so much easier. You have to get your head around them.
And because the goal is for when that person walks in, they get all of you. That's what I love about systems. Then I go, when I've got that client, I go, I'm assuming all those other things have happened. And so I can go and say, it's all about you. My focus is on them. My eyes are on them. My time is on them. I'm not getting distracted. And that's what they're wanting. They're paying their top dollar, and like going, yeah. And so their value, they go, I got such good value. Whereas the more you could have fantastic session with them, but then if they've had a poor experience in some things that should just be rinse and repeat for you, then that's really disappointing because it's kind of like you'd had 100% in your cash cow and then you'd suddenly gone down because of systems. And that's where you don't want to go. You want to be slick on your system so that you can dazzle them. And that's when you become extraordinary. That's where you get magnetic attraction on our previous topic. Because they just go, oh my gosh, like it's just so easy. It's easy to book. It's easy to pay. That she's absolutely lovely. We had such great time. She gave me her whole hour or whatever. Happy to come back. I'll book my session again because there is no doubt. So with any repeat customer, it's all about trust. Do they trust that you are going to give them what you promised? It's all about trust and promises, business.
Yeah.
So you've put a promise out into the universe. You've promised them on LinkedIn. Annie's promised them that she's an expert, global expert in starting, growing and scaling. And so it's a promise. So what do they know it? You've got to be seen. You've got to be everywhere. They're going to know you, like you, trust you. Trust is when they go, if I put my money invest in you for this one session or a whole term or whatever it is, will you deliver? And as soon as they trust that you will deliver as promised, you become the queen. Everyone wants to see you.
Yeah, 100%. And so that's how we're going to get our financial confidence. We were talking about systems, and of course, systems take our money. There's something to write on, something to send out. We've got our email systems. We've got all the systems. But how do we price? What is purpose-driven pricing? So, Annie, thank you so much for joining us again. And how about we dive deep into purpose-driven pricing?
Alrighty. Oh, I love this topic today, and I'm so glad we get to spend a whole episode on it because I tell you what, financial confidence and knowing your pricing and just feeling like you're in control of this is like, it's essential. It's not a luxury, right? It's just like, it's not like some people go, oh, they're just good at finance. It's like, no, if you're in business, you got to do it and you got to be confident at it. Because if you're not, you're going to fail. And also, other people can rip you off. So never let that happen. So how I reckon we should start with confidence. Well, what is financial confidence? It's all about, do you clearly understand your numbers, your income, your expense, your profit? People who come to me, like I've been coaching people now around the globe, and they all do the same thing. They tell me how much they make, but they don't necessarily tell me what their profit is, right? Because they've got all these expenses. And so that can be really great. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you make. You might make, $300,000, but if you spend $400,000 to run your business, not good. All right. So it's about saying, do you have clarity? Do you know what your numbers are? And this is why at the other end of my corporate clients, they'll know every single bit about their numbers. They'll know how much they spend for every single client that they get. So a new client costs X based on their spend on social, their acquisition. They're trying to get that client, keep that client, manage that client. They know what their expenses are for their office. They know what the day rate for staff are. They know based on the average week, I need this type of client to get this figure, or I get a mixture or a package deal to get that. So they're just getting clarity. And when you understand it, and none of us do at the beginning. I was telling on another episode when I first became a CEO, I'm like, I freaked out about what am I going to do when they, you get to the P&L and go, oh my gosh, do I really know these figures? And it's one of those things you go, if you're not comfortable, you just got to know them. And so my clients, I just give them a basic budget, and we go, what is coming in? What are the options of, how people could spend? What are your true expenses? And how much profit? How much profit do you get on this type of client or that type of client or a package? You got to know it, because it then helps you make informed, unapologetic financial decisions. And that's what you want. You want to go, I'm making this decision to, like Geraldine last session, she went and said, I use 3 different apps when I could use another. But she's making that informed decision. She's unapologetic because she says, I've always done it and it makes me feel comfortable, haven't got around to it. That's okay, because you go, I know that. But you don't want to be just spending too much or not knowing what you've got, because at the end of the day, our business is about knowing what is your profit. It's hard work.
Yeah, 100%. It's really interesting when you look at your figures and how you do things. So, I mean, admittedly, I've got Acuity at a really cheap price because they haven't actually put the price up. Don't tell them they haven't put the price up from the original people, because that would be a disaster. But there's all of the things, and I go through, and I have, twice a year, I sit down and I look and I dedicate that time to, is this working for me? How can I make this cheaper? So my telephone where we used to live, my internet was awful. It's not that brilliant here, but it was terrible at my old house. We had a very old house, lots of splitters. So I actually ended up using, it's called Felix, and it's a telephone brand. They use the Vodafone network, but it's really cheap, and I had unlimited internet. So I used that for my business, everything. I ran my business on this phone, right? That's all I did with it, was use it for the internet on the phone. And then, because I travel a lot, we travel around Australia, so I need a Telstra phone. Now I made a little discovery. Aldi use the Telstra network. So I'm literally about to change from Telstra to Aldi for a quarter of the cost for my phone, right?
Top tips on this program.
I know, top tips. And then with the Felix, well, I don't need it. I've just moved into a house that actually has NBN that works. So I don't need the Felix. Now I've literally just bought Felix because they're, again, for right now, because they're international. I've actually just dropped the international roaming. Is cheaper than anybody else's.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you can drop it and bring it back and drop it and bring it back. So I've just brought it back, not for the full-on internet, but just for the international roaming. So it's only costing me $20.
But I love this, because what you're saying is, you're separating. So we've got income, so we can talk about that. Expense. I think that should be the focus area and that's what you're doing, Geraldine. That's what you're saying. It's like, I've got known expenses. So have I actually checked, if I've got to have a phone, if I've got to have internet, I've got to have, XYZ, a platform to have your client managed by. Is it the best one? So it's the same as in your home environment. It's kind of like my gas and my electricity. It's like, no, shop around, know what those expenses are. They are part of your client. So for every client you see, you're going to have some expenses to see that. So it's getting that sort of clarity, because then it suddenly goes, oh, okay, well, I don't actually make $200. I actually might make 120 or something. And you go, okay, well then, how many, based on my expenses, and then, well, how many clients do I need to see per month to reach my goal? Do I know what that goal is? If you haven't set the goal, and I'm all into popping that Post-it note up, getting the vision board happening, you want to know, okay, to make X amount for that month, so say it's your 10K month, those of you who are in that earliest stage, you go, yeah, well, to get that, what does that mean? How many clients do I need to see? Is it same client, packages, combinations? What combo has to happen for me to get that? Now, then I'll go and say, okay, you've made that, but you've also got your expenses. So your next goal will be, how do I get my profit to be 10K? Well, that suddenly really changes it. And that's where Geraldine's at, going, man, if I want to trim some fat, which is exactly what I'm doing at ATMS. I'm looking at every single expense, as their CEO. I go and say, every single thing we have, one, do we need it? Can it be done in a better way? And then if I need it and I have got it in the best way, well, can I negotiate for a better deal? So
Yeah.
that is a huge one. I think one of the factors I'm talking about money is, and I've noticed that since coming in as the ATMS CEO, is that a lot of people just feel like this, they're just not confident about talking about money. They
Yeah.
feel guilty talking about money, the whole money mindset. They might be fearful about money because they go, oh, people don't know that I'm not really onto it. They might be shameful. I've got people who go, oh, I'm actually making a lot and I kind of like feel a bit bad because other people aren't. You go, oh my goodness. There's a whole discussion point, Geraldine, on
Yep.
money mindset. And we're told it often from childhood. We don't want to be too fancy because it's going to change us. And therefore, you're always got this limited belief. Or, I don't know, it could be connected to your religion, or it's just like, well, you'll get blanket statements. We're not good with money. I mean, that's going to really help your business.
Oh, that one.
That one's a real shocker. Our
Dinosaur.
family, I love the whole way. It's not just you. It's not one person. It's like, oh, our whole family are bad with money. You go, oh, wow, let's just smack that little blanket out real far. We don't need to feel guilty. We don't need to feel fearful. We don't need to feel shameful. Basically, yeah, we're in business. And then once you get a confidence, and it's all then we're going to head on to that next topic about pricing your worth. Like when someone comes and sees me, they'll go and say, oh, what are you per hour or whatever? And I go, yeah, because I've got like 25 years as business experience and I'm gold medalist and da 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 da. So if you want somewhere cheaper, that's fine. I can refer you on, but you're getting the value of what you deliver to them. And it's not actually the product, it's a transformation. So that person is paying for a transformation. And the more urgency they have for that need for a transformation, the more they will pay. And also, once that person, there's a whole lot of, I could chat away on all these things. Once that person is your client, which Geraldine said, nurture your own clients rather than the effort to get a new one. Once they are your client, it's an easier effort to upsell that person because they already know you and love you and trust you. And so there's a whole lot of discussions there. So we don't need to hide it. We need to actually talk about money. We need to try and work out, I want you to all make as much money as humanly possible because then you have choice. And I told that on another episode. For me, my number one value is freedom. And I mentor people to be financially free because when you're financially free, you have choice. And particularly with women, this is my passion point because I had two amazing grandmas who were just like above and beyond their years and their time. But they both weren't financially free. They always had to be apologetic. Oh, but I really want it, but I'm not allowed or whatever. They had hopes and dreams. So my passion point is for those I share with is like, you want to be financially independent. You want to be financially free because then you have the choices. You can give it all to a cat farm when you die if you want to. You can go on great holidays. You can have a laptop lifestyle. You can do whatever you want and you don't have to justify it. But it means that you've got choice and you're not trapped. And particularly those of you who are in other challenging family environments, to be financially independent is worth gold. And so to then suddenly start going, okay, so if my goal is then financial independence and freedom, wow, that suddenly changes the whole conversation. For me to get to X and then in 6 months to get to Y and then in another 6 months to get to Z, what do I need to do? What do I need to charge? And then am I worth it? Now, if I am, and then you're really getting well known and you've got a waiting list, you should be charging more. If you're not yet, you need to decide what do you need to provide, offer, what is your service, your product, your business model that someone will recognize your value, or you need to demonstrate that value so that others will go, yeah, you're worth it. So it's not an equal playing field. Like imagine if you wanted to get mentored by Tony Robbins. He's probably his rate would just be off the Richter because people value the transformation. In other words, he makes a promise, they get the results. And if you've got the income to afford that, it's like real estate, then they'll go, I want the best. And if I've got a pain point, for example, you're naturopath, but say I just hurt my back, I'll pay way more for someone who can then suddenly just help that back pain go away than if it was something that I might get onto. I might go and have a massage just to feel better.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, if we know our bottom line, and I mean, I check my fat, so to speak, my financial fat twice a year. I sit down and I do it. I go, right, what am I spending on? Do I need to spend this? Because I suddenly find things that I'm paying subscriptions for that I don't need. And it's just like, I need to feel free. Money comes to me because I don't mind money. Thank you very much. And I'll happily spend money. I'll do a course here and a this there and all the rest of it. And just like everybody else, I want to spend the money that comes in. I want to enjoy that money. And we make choices with that money. And we also make choices with the way we interact with people about the money, saying, okay, Tony Robbins, who I'm not too keen. Anyway,
Just an
so
example.
yeah, not too keen. So I'm not going to go to him, but I might find someone, they might find you, they find me, they find whomever, and they go, I'm going to get some coaching. Oh, I can't really afford it. I can honestly say that I haven't had anybody that I've coached in my one-to-one, and I'm sure you're exactly the same, who has turned around and said, this hasn't been good.
Oh,
I have.
no.
They achieve because you've got that support. It's all about coaching. And when we have our clients in, you're a nutritionist or a naturopath, you're a massage therapist, whatever it is, you have your client in, you're coaching them to success. I always bang on, like I say, the All Blacks didn't get to be the All Blacks by going to coaching once.
No.
They go every single day, twice a day. They have one day off. They have set behaviors they have to stick to. If you're not a good boy, you don't get in the All Blacks. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter how good you are, you don't get in because
Success has patterns. That's what
yeah,
success has patterns, and it leaves breadcrumbs. And so those people, like the All Blacks, they're like successful business owners, like people who look like it's really easy. They have patterns of behavior, which is why I talked about the diary, the calendar observation. They all rinse and repeat certain behaviors that will then help them build. They don't just do it once off or sometimes. They do it all the time.
Yep. You rinse and repeat those behaviors. You think about, what is everybody else around me charging, but what are they doing? Are they doing the same as me? Oh, I'm newly qualified. I can't charge as much as anyone else. That's what I get all the time. I'm like, why can't you charge the same as everybody else? If we're all on a level playing field, then guess what? Those clients will come to you because of you. You don't want people coming to you because you're cheap. You want people coming to you because you are you, that they see the value in you, and they're going to, they know you can help them that back. They know that they can help you with the things that they need, and they're going to come and see you. And then we need to coach them to success. And it's not just a one-off. And our coaching for them, because in naturopathy, what often happens is we get the client better and then we wave them goodbye. Right. Literally wave them goodbye. It's like, oh, no, you don't need to come back and see me again. And then
that's all because you're helpers, you're carers. So if you price your services because you just want to help people, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a helper, I'm a carer too. So, but you then undervalue your services, or you don't then go and, how about I make an appointment in 3 months to see how you're going? You should always be having that. They should be a client for life, like I would my GP or something. It doesn't mean I need to go next week, but I'm assuming I will go back. Right.
Yeah.
So,
and that's when, and we've got that client. That client has paid us money. They appreciate what we do. And as soon as they say thank you, then we ask for the review. Guys, on the podcast, scroll down, 5 stars, make sure you give the review. I will just slip that one in there. So I normally say it at the end because I figure you've made it all the way to the end, but we're not at the end yet, but you're still here. So, but we're all there going, what is it? Where can I reach to tomorrow? How far do I reach tomorrow? What is my next step? How can I grow? And yet stay really small at the same time and not let anyone see me, which is what people are doing, aren't they? They're not allowing themselves to grow, to take on that I can do this, I can achieve, and I can price my value.
And that's because they don't want to be vulnerable. It anchors on vulnerability. It's got a lot of things happening, but they're kind of like going, oh, okay, well, I don't want to expose myself. Or what if I get rejected? Or what if someone doesn't want to pay that? But there's some key principles. You don't want to be charged. You don't want to be looking at, well, what does everyone else charge? So that's what I charge, because we're all different. Whether we like it or not, you're all the same while you're in school. As soon as you leave that, well, you know what? Some people have just got more X factor. Some people got better branding. Some people know people. And it's really, you'd really like to know the people they know because they just get more business through their networks. Life is challenging, but it is the way it is. So you want to go, well, even for a new graduate, it's like, okay, well, don't undervalue. You might go, well, what is the going rate? But then you need to your focus is, how do I then develop my business and myself into having a niche area that people go, oh, they're so worth it because they specialize in that. And then you you put that on all your literature, known throughout the, state or area or globally for XYZ. It's all about, it should be aligning, your pricing should be around your expertise, most importantly, and not how long you've been in business. This idea of seniority rules and even the 10-year rule, how practice, people used to say practice makes perfect. No, it doesn't. You could be perfectly terrible. I mean, you could be permanently terrible. So practice makes permanent. You want to make sure that you're doing things really well. All right. So people are going to be paying for your expertise, not how long it took to get that. They're also going to be paying for the transformation that you create. And if you are focused on the transformation, the experience, the results they got, how wonderful they felt, then your business will skyrocket. And then you've got people at the moment, they go, oh, I've got a 6-week waiting list. And I go, I hope you put your prices up, right? So you don't until you're full. When you're full, you go, yeah, that means that you are popular and people will pay more. All right.
Yep.
And it also means that while you've got them in the waiting room, then you can also be advertising to them. Like if you actually have a practice and you don't have an iPad or a TV screen with your shop and products that you've got, this is scalable stuff. This is like, well, if I've got to wait for 5 or 10 minutes, that's your free marketing time to them and beautiful videos and bits and pieces. So don't just copy what someone else has got. Really start thinking about your money mindset and finding, well, why would someone pay more? And people will pay much more if they get much better value. You could pay less and need to see the person 5 times, but you can pay more and go, oh my gosh, I saw you twice. Now I don't want that person to only see me twice, but you get the point. I had a client the other day just text me and goes, oh my gosh, Annie, it was so exciting. I did what you said at coaching. And he was a bit like, oh, well, will I pay the rate? And then he goes, oh, just letting you know, I'm already making $500 a fortnight more just from this little thing. And I go, oh my gosh, well, if you're doing that and you map that out for the year, and then that was just one little thing that he implemented. You go, well, that's going to change. Well, how about we start looking at all these other ways? And all of a sudden they go, if you get the results, you go, oh, so worth it. Absolutely.
Worth it. This morning I was on a mentoring call and she's going into negotiation with the practice that she's, moving into. She's working there a while. She loves it, but she's been in a different role. So now she's going to be a nutritionist at the practice. And so she has to sign a contract to work with them and it's 60-40. And I was like, well, that's great, but that's a wage forever. When you go into those negotiations, why don't you look about, you're going to have to ask about your own practice. You've got people coming to you. You need to know, you need to separate. She's like, oh yeah, the last naturopath, she emailed everyone and said she was leaving and, she got a legal letter. I'm like, yeah, because you need to negotiate that at the beginning. How do we negotiate? Because we need to grow. If you're sitting at a practice at 60-40 forever, you're on a wage.
Yep, absolutely.
They're taking the money for the product. They're taking the money for your hard work, which is great for them. Fantastic. Brilliant for them. However, you're going to have your own, but she said, oh, I've already got a website. I'm using Practice Better. I'm like, well, Practice Better is really expensive. And you've got a website, which is really expensive. So you can't do that as a wage slave. We need to make sure that you're gaining from these things that you have. And you need to make sure when you go into negotiate that you negotiate that separation of your business to theirs. And if you can take their clients home for follow-up, how is that going to work when they are their clients? That's what you need to negotiate. She was like, oh, I hadn't even thought of any of that. And you have to bounce ideas off somebody else. You have to have that opportunity to bounce ideas. That's who we are, guys. You just call us and we talk to you.
Exactly. But it's because we've had those experiences, isn't it? It's because when you've been around a lot of years, you go, yeah, like we all start dreamy. And then we've either been burnt ourselves or we've seen other people be burnt. So it's just awareness. Who do you want to be your mentor? Someone who's probably at least 3 steps, I'd say, ahead of where you are in your space that you relate to. Because they've got the real knowledge and they'll go, yeah, you could go that way, but this is the risk, and that's why everyone wants to just sign a contract. You go, because all you're thinking is, here's an opportunity. The whole point of a contract is because when things go south, then everyone suddenly wants to look on micro levels of what they can get away with. Right? Yep. Very different. That's why all lawyers are very serious and miserable. They're Sorry, that was a bit of a blanket statement. Sorry, lawyers. One of my son's a lawyer. Huh, lovely. But they always look from the risk and then what can I get away with? Which is, you need that. But for us, you don't want to be dreamy. But that's right. You don't want to, you might go, oh, you know what, for my first year round, I want to do that 60-40 because I'm going to look and learn and find out how to run a practice and get all these skills. You know what, that might be money well spent because you can focus on yourself and your niche and your growth and do your own business planning in your private time. You know what, I think that's actually quite good. But if you
there's
want
the
to,
future, where does it go? Because lots of these contracts have a distance clause. You can't work within X distance of the practice once you quit.
exactly,
They've got all of these
they
other
will
clauses.
sue you for it. Yeah,
Yeah, and they'll do you. They will
they
do
will.
it. And so we have to be on top of this. And this is all part of this pricing is if we're on a wage, how can we make that extra money? Because it's great to start somewhere. It's great to start in another practice. You've got that support. You've got people there that you can talk to. It's going to be different for everyone in every practice, but you need to be able to bounce these ideas off known mentors. I've got to say, you've got to go out there and find the person that's going to help you. And if you're super busy, have a program they can be doing while they're waiting to get in to see you. Or once you've seen them, what about a program they can do when they finish up rather than you just waving them goodbye? There are all sorts of ways of making your price perfect.
Absolutely, which is why we do, online opportunities. So, I mean, I'll do that. I'll do one-to-one coaching, but then you'll also then go, well, okay, if you can't afford that, you can go into like a group situation, or you can do a pre-prepared course and then just pay for the one every few weeks as you can afford. Like, you should have options, all right? Because if that person has come to you, you've done the hard work. If they've walked in your door or found you, they've done that 90%. All it is pricing. Then you then got to have tiered pricing always, all right, but not overwhelming, just very clear, usually three options. The other thing is really think about your language that you're communicating about money. So you've got this stuff in your head and your views on it. Your clients can actually see that or sometimes hear that as well. It's the people go, oh, unfortunately, it's $200. It's quite a lot, but it is the going rate. Like the person's going to go, oh, right, sorry. But then you'll go and say, for me to be out, so my clients have found incredible results in XYZ. For us to be able to take that journey together, the fee today will be X, and there will probably be a couple of more appointments. But I said, but the result will be, and then you'll always focus on the results. Results will be blah, blah, blah. And then you've got testimonials of other people who've chosen to invest this way. You could see them on my website or see them on my reviews. And then they get confirmation. And what are they doing? They already know you and like you. They're trying to work, do I trust that I'll get my value for my money? And then they want to know that someone like them did get that. So that extra seal on the trust, then you're in a good position. So really start. So now I go and say, the fee is whatever. I used to kind of go, and now I go, no, because I'm worth it. You're worth it, and so, but you've got to believe it. You only ever over receive what you believe. So if you don't believe you're worth it, then other people are not going to pay for your goods or your services. You'll always be limited. So you've got to, not tell yourself you believe it. You've got to do the work that you do believe it because you have a service or products that guaranteed. Your business proposition has to be guaranteed. You can't guarantee that they'll be healed of something and make false claims.
No.
You can guarantee that the promise you made based on what they purchase will be done. If I want to buy an iPhone and I get the iPhone, it should work according to what they advertise. And I go, yep, that's what I paid for. I'm happy with that. All right.
Yep.
And then at some stage I'll go, I want an upgrade.
It's all about being that honest. And saying and going with the flow, being honest with the client and saying, we're going to get that improvement. We're going to see the improvement. We might plateau at some points along this journey because you've been sick for 20 years. So we can't expect to get over it in the next 2 weeks. They're looking at you and there is no pill and my magic wand broke. So we're just going to have to do the work and move forward together. And we're going to see each other fortnightly for the first 6 weeks. And then we can probably move it to 3 weekly, but we're going to sit at 3 weekly for quite some time together. but we can do that online, or you can come into the office. We can do it on the telephone, whatever suits you when we connect. And they're just like, oh, great. Okay.
No, that sounds right. And what are they wanting to know? That, oh, this is the way it works. It's like they're on a program. They're on a tried and tested program. You're not trying to make it up and go, well, hopefully we'll get this. Your language, like Geraldine just shared, it's like, this is the way it works. It's going to take process, that's what they need to hear from you. You want to stop apologizing for your rates. You want to watch your language. You want to be comfortable that you go, yeah, I believe that I am worth it and I can deliver those. If you can't yet, then you aren't ready to increase your fees, or you might need to get some help to package yourself a little bit better. That whole topic of marketing, we're all marketing. We're all marketing product, a brand. We are all a brand. Yeah. And so
we are.
Then someone's and they're watching you and listening to you constantly, everyone who works with you.
They are indeed. They are watching us all the time. They are there following us on social media, following us until they get to know us so that they can book us. So I am going to have to close it there because we have had the best summer together, Annie. I am absolutely thrilled. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. It has been phenomenal. It's been absolutely phenomenal. I love working with you as a board member and you as our CEO at ATMS. It has been, it is an incredible journey. It's been an amazing learning curve for me being on a board. I didn't think I'd ever do it, and I was really surprised when I got on it. And these things come to us when they come to us. It's our time to do the thing. It's our time to put up the price. It's our time to know when it's time to take that next step. And we sometimes need support to do that. We always need it. If without a coach, you don't take that next step. I needed coaches. Okay. That's how I took that next step. I still have coaches. Without them, I would not be where I am now. So we're going to leave it there now. But thank you so much, Annie, for coming on the podcast. It's been absolutely brilliant having you.
It's been so fun spending the whole summer with you. And thanks to your beautiful listeners, it's been so lovely to be able to just chat away so freely. And I hope we've given you incredible value. And like Geraldine said, I hope you've taken notes. If you haven't, listen again, write some things down and just start applying. Apply one thing every day and just start backing yourself. Believe in yourself. Don't expect miracles overnight. Start consistent success practices.
Absolutely.
You are worth it.
You are worth it. Maybe the reflection prompt for the end of the season is, what value do you need to lean into in 2026? What do you need to lean into? What value do you need to lean into? There's lots of things out there. You can think about it. Take some reflection time over the summer. I look forward to catching up with you all on the next cast. Thank you again, Annie. Cheers.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast for the weekly episodes. If you'd like even more support and learning, then the Academy is for you. Here you'll find part 2 of the herbal discussions, more clinical learning, and case studies to support your clients in practice. Bye for now.